What's wrong with the page, yeah?
Class will be strengthening the class.
Oh, अच्छा
I got a class
ठीक है मैं भी
system
हाँ तो इंस्टॉल करें या दूसरा मशीन बनाए
दूसरा मशीन मैंने उसको नया उसको स्टार्ट करा वो मशीन जो है ना वही है स्टार्ट करा
ठीक
Okay. The last two classes, the resolution was not as it used to be before. There's a problem that lines needs to be wiped out and cleaned or something. Because when I'm trying to rewatch that classes, the resolution, it's just perfect.
Alhamdulillah. Okay.
I had a flat tire this past week.
जी
I had a flat tire, a nail in my tire this past week. I woke up early this morning and got that home and got fixed. Tire replaced, just came here.
Attendance.
Yeah.
Okay, I just started the WebEx. So today what we are going to do is we are going to take a full backup on Batch 52 database, and then we'll be restoring it as a Batch 52 database on the other side. Okay,
You mean batch 51?
Batch 51. Did I say Batch 52? So where's this?
So we're cloning the database? What's the difference?
We are restoring, we are not cloning, but we are restoring from a backup, not directly from the database itself. So
What's the difference between restoring and taking backup?
restoring and taking a backup. Once you have a backup, then you can use that backup to restore the database. Okay, so I'm going to give you a document. Okay, so this is the document that we are using. Document ID is 997. How to restore and recover database on a remote server. So at the time of writing back in 2019, Chicago was the active server. So I'm just going to use the 19C document, and I am going to make some changes in here. So I'll make a local copy here. And then this is exactly what you will be doing when you are restoring. And here I have a copy now. So this copy, I will have it as a read write. So the original document is read only. So what I'm going to do here is on my source database, what is my database name? For example, I have my database name is Batch 52. Right? Echo Oracle set. And here I'm going to log into RMAN, and I will type in show or list backup. RMAN target / list backup. So we should have the backup. Oh, nothing. Okay. So if I go back into the U99 batch 51. Oh wait.
So this is 52.
Yeah. So RMAN target / list backup. So it looks like I do have these backups. So if I go to this location, and if I do this, it looks like I have not just one, I have multiple backups, and they are at least 7 days old, right? Today is what? Today is 4, and then the last one, okay, so 29 was the backup. So about 6 days old, that's okay. And if I do ls minus fdrh, du minus sh, 2.5 gigs in our database. Now we already know that how do we recover the database when the data file was lost, right? So here, let's say my database is completely down. So let's say, actually we can clone the database and then we'll come back and do this. I think that will help you greatly. So I know my database is here, so I'm going to connect to the New York server. Which one is that? We have the New York, no, Florida, right? So I'm going to connect to the Florida. No, we are in Florida. Okay. So I'm going to connect to New York. Okay. So I'm going to kill all of the databases to make things faster.
Yeah.
Okay. So PS minus EF, Pimon, nothing is there. So if I set my, so if I look into the cat etc or a tab, these are all the databases that I have, and the database home, is it matching the same as the here? So if I type in echo Oracle Z, echo Oracle home, is it matching the same?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you look at here, this is the source and this is the destination, right? So imagine that they want to refresh the hardware, right? Every company, usually they say that 3 years is a good enough time for any company or any server to start failing their component. So usually every 3 years. So 2019 or 2020 is when the server was built, everything was working fine. Now all of a sudden we start seeing that some of the hardware is getting failed, maybe one of the disk failed, and now there is one of the memory card failed. Now they start realizing this is the time to refresh the hardware. So what they are going to ask you is, they'll say, okay, you know what, we want to clone this server. So I have the server called Florida, and then what I want to do is I want to clone the server directly to New York. You can call this as a migration from one server to another, one data center to another data center, or you can just say, hey, in the same data center, we are just moving from server A to server B. So I'm just going to actually, since I don't want to introduce the migration here, we will call this in the same data center. We have source, and then we have the destination in the same data center. Okay. So the source database that I have is, we already know that we have the root, and then we have U01, then U02, then U03, U04, U05, U14, U15, U16, U17, and then U18, and then U98, and then U99. So these are all the, let's say these are all the disks that you have, right? And at some point, you're going to say, hey, if I want to migrate everything from here to here, what do you think I'm going to need first? To the begin with. To
Another size.
On the other side, do you think first thing I need is the hardware, right? So build or get the hardware. Order similar or better hardware, or better. Okay. My source is, if we are just going with the HP shop, HP DL 360 generation 3, for example. Now on the destination, I want to have a better or at least the same version. Right? So here we will go with DL 380 generation 9. Okay, with this one, we have the CPU, we have the memory configuration, and then we have the disk. Okay. For the CPU, this is only up to 64 gigabyte. For the memory, we can go only 64 gigabyte. And for the disk space, the max limit is, let's say, 512 gigabyte. This is a very small database server. So we said that the old one, this one was built in 2019. Right? And then this is you are building in 2023. So for the CPU, the memory, and the disk space. For the CPU, we have 256 gigabyte. Memory, I can go up to 1 terabyte. And for the disk, I can have 2 terabytes of disk space. So this is clearly much more faster. And here for the disk, I have the IDE drives, which is the older ones. Now I have the SATA drives. This is much more faster. Okay. So the first thing that I did was I did some analyze and I said, okay, this is what I have. So I'm going to get this one. So we said, okay, DL380 generation 9 is the one that we want. What is the next thing that you do? As a DBA, somebody called you and they said, hey, you know what? You asked me to order this. We already have this all racked up on the server. We got DL380G5, which is equipped with 256 gigabyte of CPU. I'm sorry. Why did I say 6? This is 16 logical cores, right? And this can go up to 64 logical cores. Logical cores, right? So 2 physical. Physical and 64 logical cores. Here I have again two physical and 16 logical cores. This is what we have for the CPU. So it is clearly much better. So they just called you and you are the DBA. What do you think you will do next? Remember, today is, when you start analyzing, today is January 1st, and you have this on January 10th, and then live date is February 28th. Okay, this is when it was decided. They ordered, after 10 days, they got this one. Now we have to convert this, migrate everything before February 28th at 2 a.m. We should be done by 2 a.m.
Install OS, soft.
Okay, so what do you think?
First of all, I would need to install the operating system.
Okay, so here operating system is Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7.6.
So probably I would just install either the same or the latest OS.
You want to have the same or the better, so or the other version. So here we decided that since we are moving everything, so we will say 8.4 is the one that we want, which is okay. So are you going to install the operating system?
The sysadmin will install.
Sysadmin will install. So here this task is done by the OS admin. Is that correct? Okay. Now, let's say they said, okay, everything is all done, all the prerequisites are done. So here I have the OS installed. What is the next thing? Sayed, what is the next thing? If you are a DBA, so now I have the first done, second done, Linux is installed. What do you think you should do now? What about you? Oracle binaries? Or do you think you will prepare the server for database, for Oracle database? So can you install the Oracle binaries right away? Or do you think that there are some prerequisites that you need to make sure that you have before you actually install, right? So the third thing is the prerequisites should be done, prereq, for Oracle database, Oracle database server. Now, I know you guys have installed this, right? Database server on AWS. What are some of the prerequisites that you can think of?
For the AWS?
Yeah, to change the database, to change the server into a Oracle database server.
So
There are some prerequisites after you've done the installing the operating system.
Update the DNS.org.
Well, that is, think about that. Is there anything for TNS.org yet?
No. So after I installed the OS installed, I need to do the logical mounts, the hard disk logical mounts, and I assign the spaces for each one.
Mhm.
And before that I need to update the software.
So, can I say, for the prerequisites, one of the first thing that you want is you need to have the mount points. So mount points. So mount points are done by who? Well, the first thing is the disk space has to be allocated. Disk space is needed. So who is responsible of allocating the disk space? Storage admins now. The storage admins will say, okay, we are going to assign you a disk here. Okay. Now, once the disk is assigned, so here, this is the storage admins. They assigned 1 terabyte of disk space. The disk is there now. At this point, the next prerequisite is, so here, before the mount point, I will say allocate disk space. Allocate disk space. Right? So now let's say they have /dev/SDA. SDA is for the operating system. So now SDB, depending on how big the drives are, they may have SDC or SDD, whatever that is available. So first prerequisites. So this is 3.1. Right? What about the 3.2?
Install the right software.
So just the raw disk is assigned. Don't you need the partitions? Don't you need the mount point? So now we have to create the partitions. So this is the storage admin. Then we'll say partition the disks. Partition the disk. Right? This is done by the OS admin. So this is where they will start allocating. So here I will say, okay, I need one partition for U01, U02, U03, U04, U05, right? U14, U15, 16, 17, 18, 98, and 99. So now the partitions are created. Now partitions are created usually with a command called fdisk. Once this is done, then this has to be, what is the next thing?
The mount point assigned to them.
Format the disk. Now format the disk. In the old one, you use the ext4 format. With the new one, we have XFS file system. Okay, so format with the proper file system. The proper file system. Right? So if 8.4 is using the XFS, then you will use this. Now 3.3, what is it? Or 3.4? Once the format is done. So now this is ready with XFS. This is done formatting with the XFS. What do we need next?
Allocate
The
space.
next thing is
Allocate space for the list.
we already allocated the list, right?
When we partition.
So here from 1 to 124 gigabyte. We already partitioned based on whatever the numbers that we had there. So for example, if I have this one as 100 gigs, I'm going to give the 100 gigs here. Right? U02, I have 4 gigabyte. Control files are very small, 4 gigabyte. So now I have the 4 gigabyte here, 4 gigabyte here, 4 gigabyte here. Here I have, let's say, 200 gigs. Here I'm going to allocate at least 200 gigs, if not more, right? So here I will say now this database for U05, 4. Now we have bigger space, so I'm going to give this as 200 gigabyte here, right? Here last time it was only 50 gigabyte. U14 was 300 gigabyte here. U15 was 10 gigabyte, 10 gigabyte, 10 gigabyte. Here I have 50 gigabyte. U98 was another 50. U99 was another 100. Right? Because we have to play around with 512 gigabyte. Here, instead of 1 terabyte, let's say they said, oh, we can even give you up to 2 terabytes, 4 times more space than this one. So we can start allocating based on that. So the first thing is you partition based on the value or more values in here. The second thing is you format it with the proper file system. The third thing is label the partitions. When I say label the partitions, what are those? U01, U02, right? And so on. So now I will start giving them, if this is 100 gigabyte, we call this U01, U02, U03. This is called labeling them. U04, right? U05, U14, U15, U16, U17, U18, U98, then U19. Is that true? So the first thing that we do is, after installing the operating system, we start working on the prerequisites for the Oracle. We want to convert the regular server into the Oracle database server. So once that is done, then we say, okay, now one of the first thing I need is the disk space for my database. At least whatever I have there, if not more. Then we start partitioning the disks, allocate the space, get the number of mounts that we can prepare, and then we start labeling them. Now after you label them, what do you think we need?
Software installation.
Software installation right away? Are you sure? You guys built your server. You know all of these. You already did all of these on your AWS server.
To kernel.
Kernel parameters. So next thing that we have here is create the Oracle user. Create Oracle user. Create install group. Install group. Then create Oracle user. Then update kernel parameters. Right? 3.8 system. There are some parameters that we install packages. install Oracle packages if they are missing, then update the kernel parameters. Okay, once all is done, at this point, we have all these mount points, right? This is for the 19C. If we have this as 19C, we are going to have the 19C binaries in here. Number 4, install or
No.
download 19C software. Okay. Number 5, install 19C software. What is the program that we use to install the Oracle software?
Yeah.
No, the idea is to download. We already downloaded, let's say, right? We SCP'd the file. Now we have the file already on 19C software. So what is the utility that we use to install?
The
DBCA?
DBC.
DBCA is to install that, to create the database, to install the Oracle software. Run installer, right? Run installer at this point is home, database, home. So for example, here my path set is C October 15th, 2023 patches. So October 15, 23 patches, I believe is 19.20. So right now, when you install the Oracle software, you are on 19.0. You now upgrade this to 19.20. To patch the software, we use OPatch. Okay. Now we have not covered about the OPatch, but I have a document that will list you. So find that document that will list you. So to download the patches, you have to be part of the Oracle support. If you don't have the Oracle support given to you by to download. So when you go to the company, usually they will give you an Oracle account so that you can download. So once you download, then you can start using the OPatch. The way we have SQL Plus, the way we have Run Installer, the way we have DBCA, we also have a utility called OPatch. So with the OPatch, you make all this up to date. Now, number 7, what do you think we have now? Create a database. So now, create a database. Now, I would just use an empty shell. Right? So whatever that name is. So we can call this demo DB. A really quick one. Because we are restoring, our database is here. Our database is called batch 51, which is here. And ultimately our goal is to go there. But right now I'm just creating a demo database. Demo DB. Okay, and then we have the redo logs here, 3 redo logs groups. We have export import, we have archive logs, and we have the backups. You see how this starts changing a brand new server into the Oracle database, which should be clone of this because we are migrating our database to a different server, which is more powerful, more newer. Now, at this point, to create the database, we use what? DB?
CSC.
All in small case, sorry, not big caps. DBC. Now, once the database, a dummy database is created, that's not what our goal is, but at least with that, we have the control file 1, control file 2, control file 3 location, we have the flash recovery area, we have the data files, .dbfs, we have the redo group 1, redo group 2, redo group 3, we have data pump, and then we have ARC, and then we have the BKP location. What else now? So do you think my server is at least ready now so that we can start preparing for the migration? Sorry? Okay. Oh yeah, we didn't create the listener yet. So number 8, create listener. Now we want to match the listener settings to the same one what we have there. So my listener is running on 1521. Okay. How do you create a listener? Which utility that you use? So using Netka, I created the listener. Anything missing? We need to make sure that we have the tunnel between the servers, right? So the firewall is open between the servers. There are very strict firewall rules, so sometimes maybe you are not in the same zone as this other one. So whoever is working on it, network admins will have to open this work. Network admins. Network admins plus OSR admins. They need to work together to open up the firewall. Right? So they both will have to work. 2 ports that has to be open between the network admins and OS admins. One port is port 22, which is the SSH port. The second one is the database port, which is 1521. At least these two has to be open between the servers. Right? So I can DNS ping here, I can just regularly ping each other from both sides. And this is the tunnel where we are going to start transferring all the files from source to destination. Right? What is the next thing? Simi, what do you think the next thing that I should do now? By this time, we are already at February 1st. We only have about 28 more days, and usually you have like at least a month or 2 for projects like these, if not more. So you have very good ample time to do everything.
Do we have to set any of the parameter files on the new server?
No.
No, like this?
Not at this point.
No.
We just have to prepare it so that the migration can start from one server to another server. If I don't have this, imagine, you don't have the disk layout, you just want to transfer the files. Where are you going to do that?
No.
What is the next thing you want?
Take the backup on the.
Yeah, so now at this point, we'll say, I'm going to take a backup in here, .bak files, .bak files, .bak files. All these backup files are getting transferred from here to where?
So that you know.
To the U99 here. So now I have the .bak file, .bak file, .bak file. I have to also, there are a lot of archive files here, ARC files. Taking a backup of this and I'm going to send this to u98.arg.arg.arg in the form of the backup. So far, okay? So now I SCP these two files, SCP into the other side.
I have a question. Shouldn't we switch auto system switch log files then auto system log file current to make sure we flush them?
Not yet. Hold on. Database is still active.
Okay, right.
My production machine is still active. So a lot of connections are still connecting to the database here. Right? So a lot of connections are still connected. So the first thing I'm doing is on January 1st, I initiated number 9. Use RMAN to back up the database plus archive logs. Number 10, send the backups to destination server. What do you think I have to do next?
We'll restore.
Sorry?
We'll restore on the new server.
Restore. So now my task is 3 things that I have to do. Using this backup, I have to restore the init.ora. So SP file. This will help me take the database in no mount mode. Is that true? Then using the same backups, I have to put the control files into the right location. Right? This will move the database into the mount state. Right? Using the backup, now I have to restore the database from February 1st. So February 1st, my database is restored. When the backups were taken, this was February, so the backup was February 1st, 2 a.m., right? 2 a.m. So now, using the same one, we restore, RMAN restore is done. Now using the archives, I'm going to recover. So my database is now at February 1st, 2 a.m. I have the exact image copy of February 1, 2 a.m. Now, I have the database today is February 8. I take another incremental backup. Does that mean I can also push that incremental backup here now? Yes? Now, using this backup, can I add those changes in here? Now my database is February 8th. Yeah? So now we'll take the next week, we take another incremental backup. Right? Using these, I'm sending the changes here, .bak. And then using the same changes, I'm restoring one more time. Now I have February 16th backup. All changes. Now this is even before the cutover date of February 28th. I'm doing all this. I'm preparing all this, right? 28th morning or 27th morning, I take another backup. Another incremental. This is done on February 27th at 20 o'clock. Or let's say 8 p.m. Right? At 8 p.m. or let's say we want to have this done at 10 p.m. These changes I copy and then I restore, I put this in here, February 27th, 10 p.m. And then I started the restore process. My database is February 27th, 10 p.m. Restore. On February 28th at 12 a.m., listener is down. Listener down. Database last incremental is taken. Right? So last incremental. So anytime you do any incremental, it will automatically perform a log switch. That's the one that you are asking. You don't have to do it manually. It will perform a log switch and then it will send all these changes in here. The remaining archives are still sitting here. So let's say there are two archives, archive number 1201, 1202. There are two of these archives are still sitting. We take this backup at 12 o'clock. So database last incremental is taken, listener is down. Your, let's say your website, if this is a website is down now. Right? You take so you shut down the business. Shut down business. Right? Which is the business. This is done on 27th or 28th. February 28th at 12 a.m. So basically my downtime starts. And last incremental backup is done. SCP, the backups. SCP, the archive logs. So actually before incremental, I have another point here, shut down database. Shut down database. So first thing, shut down listener or shut down the business, right? We'll let the users know that we are no longer taking our downtime stacks for next 4 hours or so, and then take an incremental backup. Then once that is done, then shut down the database, and then now SCP the files, both the backups and archives. So the last incremental is sent here. Last set of archives are sent here. Using this last incremental, so last and then last archive, I'm going to restore the database and I'm going to recover the database. Now at this point, my database is exactly same copy as this one, which is February 28th at 12 a.m. Last incremental, the last archive is 1202. So 1202 is also applied. So can I say exact same copy is there now? Yeah. So during this restore process, my restore process starts at 12 a.m. and my recovery and restore process is done by 12:45 a.m. Okay. Now 12:46. You open the database with the listener on. 12:46, listener on. Okay. Restore and recovery is completed. Restore and recovery is completed. At 1 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock, verification process. Whoever is verifying whatever that they're doing, so this is at 1:59 a.m. At 2 o'clock, downtime end. At 2 o'clock, business started. Your migration is completely done at this point.
What kind of verification we need to perform after?
Listener is working, database is open, users can read, users can write, users can update, whatever, all the views are there, everything that, whatever they need to test. So your application opens up without any error. If there is an error, if it is related to the database, if for whatever reason by 1:59, they realize that, no, you know what, something is wrong, then they will simply open up this database, everything is filled over now. That means our migration was not successful. Right? Our database is sitting here as it is. There are no changes. So by 2 a.m., if they decide that no, verification is not being done because there are a lot of errors, whatever that those are, in those 2 hours or 1 hour, they may not have enough time. So they will say, okay, we are going to fail over, and then we start from the source. And then they will plan this for March 1st week, the next weekend, or the March 2nd. Now they have about 7 days or 2 weeks time to find out what is going on. Does that make sense? So number 11 here is to restore. Number 12 is recover. Number 13, keep repeating. Repeat, restore, or backup, restore and recover. Backup, restore, and recover. Until cutover date. Until cutover. That's number 13. Number 14 here, on cutover date, take final backup of database and archive. Number 15, restore, copy, SCP, restore, recover from final backup. Number 16, open the database. Open the database with reset logs. What that means is new birth of the database now. New birth of the database on new hardware.
So we will have reset the archive.
Right. Number 17, open listener. Number 18, verify, verification process. Number 19, open up business. Okay, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to copy down all the steps, and then we will perform exactly all these steps when we move the database. Can you guys give your attendance please in the batch, in the group please?
A question now, when we install the software, so we have to apply the patches. So doesn't Oracle, when they do the update, they don't apply the new patches to the new software?
No, it is the base version. If the software was released in 2019 and you download it today, you have the same base version that was released in 2019, and then you have to apply the patches.
And I download the latest,
You can download the latest patch, but you still have to apply.
so.
The base version is the base version, that's it. But you can create a new base version for 2020, 1920, for example. And then you can start implementing that with your server.
I have to add those patches, but don't they, Oracle themselves, one day they introduce, from, let's say you're at 18C, they introduce the 19C. Don't they apply?
The versions are yes.
Yes.
But in the same version, they don't apply the changes.
Okay. I see.
So you can get the base version of 12C, 18C, 19C, 21C. But what I'm talking about is every 3 months they send you the patches.
Patches.
Those patches, they will not apply. You as a DBA will have to manually apply.
Because you will get it, yeah, you get the base version.
So let's go back here. So imagine the same scenario, right? Same scenario what we just talked about, and then we are sending the database from one side to another side. Now, the assumption is that all the prerequisites are done. The database software is installed, all the prerequisites, including the disk layout, the spacing need, the kernel parameters, the Oracle prerequisites with the groups, firewall is open, SSH is open, 1521 is open. All these changes are already done. All you have to do is basically restore the database and recover the database. So we are going to use the help of RMAN and the help of SCP. These are the two tools that we are going to use. RMAN to back up the database on source, SCP to send the changes to the destination, and then again RMAN to restore the changes on the other side. Okay. So here, so wherever I have the MovieDB, I'm going to change it to batch 51. Okay, so replace. And wherever I have Chicago, I'm going to change it to Florida.
In New York. Oh.
Right? We are sending it to New York, right? So here, so let's try this now. So what I did was I divided the screen between in two parts. The first one is the Florida, which is on your left-hand side, and then the destination server is this one. So here I'm going to go to do this. So let's do this until we have done this before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fresh backup. RMAN target. So we'll delete all the old backups and delete archive log all. Okay, so I'm just cleaning up everything and then we'll take a fresh backup.
We also need to delete the old backup as well, beside.
I am doing it. In reality, you don't do it. You just copy the latest backup and latest archives. Okay, but I just want to keep it clean. Otherwise, the commands that we have, it will copy everything instead of sorting out. So to make things cleaner, I am doing it. But in reality, you will never delete any archive logs, any of the backups. So delete, no prompt, backup. So it won't prompt me to simply start deleting. Now I'm going to log in to the database. let's say this is where the downtime starts, right? So now we know that there is no traffic that is coming in. We'll take a full backup or incremental backup. In our case, with our example, we already restored and adding this. So backup database plus archive log all. Okay, so maybe backup database plus archive log all. Backup database plus archive log. We use the 6 channels, right? Remember we had the parallelism set to 6. So in the New York site, so while the backup is still going on, okay, so here we log into the RMA target, we type in show all, we made all those changes, we verified these 2 directories exist on the source. Okay, so here, while the backup is still going on, we come here. So, yes.
Dash 52 or 311?
So echo where it is set. So now if I say, do I have the archive destination? If it is not there, then create it. Same thing with the backup. If the backup destination is not there, create it. But the destination is here. Now with the show all, we made all these changes, and then we set backup database plus archive log on the source. Now while the backup is still running, we are going to go to the destination server, right? We are going to tap the Aura tab. We are going to add our entry into the Aura tab. Otherwise, the .aura env will not work. So I come here and then I'm going to add it here. Okay. Then we will also now I'm going to use the Aura env to set to bash 51. even though there is no database, we are still preparing for it. Now I'm going to come back and create all the directories. Now, what are those directories? The control file directories, the fast recovery area directories, database directories, archive, and then the backup directory, the redo logs directory, A dump, B dump, C dump, U dump, all these Oracle binaries. We all have to do this. So I'm going to copy all this at once. Oops. So let me do this page first. Okay, so we come back. There you go. So these directories are created. I'm going to do the same thing here. C dump and then U dump. And now, if the backup is done, let's see. No, backup is still running here. So at least I have prepared this beforehand. I'm not waiting until the cutover day, right? So here, once I'm done with this, then I'm going to, since this is going to this location to this, that's fine. So all I have to do is just basically copy this command to send to the New York. So let's go to this location, 3D U99, batch 51, backup. Right, so and then if I do ls, du, yeah, so it is going up. So watch minus n1, you see minus L, this is the first command, and du, and then du minus sh. Do you hear that? So I'm just going to add pwd here as well. And instead of 1 second, we will say 2 seconds. So now we should see this number going up. Okay, oh, it actually done, right? So I'm going to go from here, and then I will go to CD U99, batch 51, backup. Okay, so now if I say ls minus mdr here, there is, oh, these are the previous ones. I'm going to remove all this. Oh, you know what? It looks like somebody has actually restored this in the past, so I need to perform the cleanup first. So let's hold on. So I'm going to remove all these backups. So CD U02 batch 51, Aurora data batch 51. Actually, let's use RM. So I'm just going to remove, if there are any control files, I want to remove them, right? Actually, if I say,
Yes.
Thank
if I say 4, 2, 9, so I think it should delete everything, yeah. And then I say the same thing here. So now if I go to U04, there is nothing there. So CD U14, Aurora data, batch 51. So last time they were restored, I'm going to remove. Okay. So here, I will say 49. I'm going to remove everything from here. Okay. So CD, so if I do ls minus mdr, you 1, 2, 9, data, batch 51, all. It is not accessible. Okay, let's try this.
You have to do U0.
Yeah, but I was only focusing on
14 to
14, 9, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, so U14, Aurora data, batch 51, nothing there, right? Let's try with U15, U16, 17. And that's it. So now everything is all done. So here I'm going to PWD, and what I will do now is CD 399 -51 backup. Actually, I think there should be some archives which I'm going to delete as well. CD backup. So there you go. My present working directory is here, and I have absolutely nothing in here. So I'm going to start sending this from this side to this side, but we will also put the watch -N2, and then we'll say present working directory, du/sh, and we will also say ls-str so that we can keep the count. Okay, so there is nothing. So now I'm going to start sending from source to the destination. Okay, so source to destination, ABC123. I think that is not the right password. So I'm going to see if I can change it temporarily. Okay, I'm going to try this one more time.
What we do in our case if we don't have access to Oracle user?
So remember I said you have to transfer it to the NM file, and then from there you have to do this. Pretty much all the companies, they are never going to give you the Oracle access.
So we still need to send it to temp, give permission, change seamless,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then
something like that. Something like that. Or there are always going to be workarounds. So your company, your other DBAs, they will have the workaround and they will share with you. If they are not giving anything, the last resort is sent to the temp, change the permission, and then copy into the Oracle location. Okay. So now if I look at here, the files are being copied here.
That's why it was good when we work on the AWS, which is the most.
Yeah, if you are doing this in your AWS, then you have access to everything, so you can change the password of whatever that you want.
Well, it's better not to, just do as regular.
Or sometimes I have seen that, when you open a ticket with the Unix admin, hey, I need to copy this. So they will temporarily change the Oracle password and they will share it only with you. Once you are done with this, then they will change the password back. So I have seen that as well. So Unix admin, they want to save some time. So they, what I just did, they will do the same thing and then they will give you the password.
Right.
And then once you are done with that, they will change it. So after 2 hours or next day, they have a reminder and then they will reset the password.
it's to help us avoid from doing extra multiple steps, so that's good.
So here, everything is all copied. So yeah, it looks like this. So now I'm going to say ls-ltr. I have everything in here. So pwd, du here, is it matching with the same thing here? Yeah. So now that means every bit by bit, everything is copied. So I'm going to go back to my document. Now, I'm going to log into the RMAN target database. Now, if I start looking into this, it is at some point you need to have the DB ID set. And if you start looking into my screen, I said the number right after the C is the DB ID. So if I go back in here and if I say ls-ltr, everything that starts with C. So this is your DB ID. Okay. So I'm going to log into the RMAN target /. Okay. It says database not started. So I will say, if I go here and say, so this is exactly what I did. And then I said set DB ID equal to this number. Now RMAN knows that whatever it is going to do, it has to match this number in the data file header so that the data files are correctly associated with the right database. Okay. Now I did that, and then I'm going to come back here. This time I'm going to say, now do you think my database has any init.or or anything? I think I have to actually go back and take my Oracle Oracle Home as well. So rm anything that has, so echo Oracle set. So rm anything with,
Why were you removing?
because somebody has restored this in October 29.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
Right,
Okay.
so I'm removing the previous
Right.
traces
Right.
so that we can restore this. So now if I do, cdbs, right? So now I'm going to remove everything. So here if I come back and I say start force no mount. Now usually what we have seen is startup no mount, right?
Right.
Startup no mount will work if you have the init.dora or if you have the SP file. If you do not, then what we are saying is, hey, I'm going to ask you to start up or get a small amount of memory so that I can start my Oracle. So Oracle will not look for any init.or or anything. It will just basically start with maybe 100, 200 megabyte of memory, and then it will assign that to a instance called dummy. And then that dummy terminal or that dummy later on converted to bash 51. So now I'm going to try this. So if I say, and I'm going to look into the alert log here as well in the same. So right now there is no alert log, or maybe there is alert log because we have already created it.
What we do in our case, if it's not previously restored, if there's no alert log,
There is no alert log, so I'm going to clean up the alert log now.
okay, should we create one?
No, I'm cleaning up alert log. So cd die dash 51 fix. Right? So right now I have all this. I'm going to even remove alert log also. So right now if you look at here, there is no alert log. Right? So as soon as I say start up force no mount, it should create an alert log here, and then we can look into that. So here I will say start up force no mount.
So the alert log is gonna get created only when you start the database.
Correct. Start up force no mount. Hold on. I think it had the file before, and now it's started. Start up force no mount. Now if I do this, first 21 here. Because,
Permission.
no, something, I'm not doing wrong. Let's see, this 1 second. So clean up everything, so it is still finding some traces. Where are those traces? So I'm even going to remove batch 52 completely. RM1 is completely. So there is nothing there now. So wait a minute. No, we need to log in. We have to do this from RMAN. The start of force no mount has to be done from the RMAN, not SQL itself. So here, I'm going to log into RMAN, set target / set my DB ID, set DB ID equal to wherever the DB ID is, which is this number. So I'm actually going to go back and change this. So here, Control H, wherever you find this, change it to this DB ID. Right? And then the same thing here. Alright. So now I'm going to say set DB ID equal to this. And once that is done, then I'm going to say start a force no mount.
So, because when you say RMAN target, it does not recognize it, so we have to specify the DB ID, so RMAN knows which SID, which one.
Yeah, so it is going to, when it is restoring the data files, it will have to match it with, is this the right data file for the right database? So start a force no mount. Now if I do this, I will see the batch 51 still not there. See, do you see there is a dummy now? Dummy will later convert to the batch 51.
Does dummy has the alarm flag?
Yeah, so it will do whatever it is needed to bring up the instance. Okay, so now if you change this, you see how the dummy is started? Now I'm going to say, come back here, and we will say set control file auto backup format. So basically, with this command in the RMAN, we are basically saying, hey, go into this location, and then there is a file that starts with control and SP file. You will find this, and that has the SP file that you can use to create init.ora, to create the control files and so on. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, now it knows, now the RMAN, the dummy instance knows where to find the SP file and where to find the control files. So at this point, I'm going to go to the next one and look at these. So this is the material. So let me open this here. And run. Now, if you have multiple commands, so for example, if you are in RMAN, you say list database. Okay, then you are in RMAN, you say list backup. Then you are in RMAN, then you say report schema. So these are 3 different commands, right? If you want to run 3 different commands in just one go, RMAN will give you the error. Unless you actually put that into something called a run block. So here, I start the run block. Here, I am going to end my run block. So in between, I can put whatever number of commands, and RMAN will execute them one at a time. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. So the first one, I'm going to say, I don't need this one. If there are 6 channels, if I want this to be restored with 6 channels, then I will have to give 6 channel names. So I'm going to give the channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, channel 5, channel 6. Now I can name it whatever I want. I can call it each channel mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4. Now why are we not using the parallelism?
Why we're not?
Yeah. So remember how during the backup, during the RMAN backup, I actually set parallelism set to 6. So why can't we do that here?
We don't want to waste resources.
No. Let's say my source server has 6 channels, 6 or 8 processes. My destination server has 60 processes. So I can even increase the channels to 20 now. But my question is, why are we not doing this in the RMAN itself? Remember how we said list, show all, and then we were changing the parameters? And then there was one parameter, we call it parallelism equal to this. So why can't we do the same thing in here during the restore?
This is manual, it's not automatic.
Exactly, this is a dummy terminal, it has no settings.
Right.
So now you have to name these channels. So in the source, instead of doing that, what we did was we did this. We set parallelism to 2. Right? Because this is a dummy terminal, this is a dummy database, we have to manually name the channels in order for us to speed it up. So if you just want to speed it up with the normal, then you just allocate 1 channel, that's all. If you want to speed it up with multiple channels, then you have to name them. So I don't really have to name this C1, I can name this M1, M2, M3, whatever that you want. This is just for each process, background process, it is giving one name though. Okay. And then here we are saying restore SP file to P file. Now it already knows where to go and get the SP file or the backup file. So from there it is going to go ahead and restore that into the form of Indian.ORA. And here I'm saying go back by default. If I don't give this, it will only go back 7 days. But let's say if my backup was taken 360 days before. So here I will say go back and go back up to 364 days. So up to 1 year. So if I have 6 months or 30 days, whatever that date is, you want it to go back. Otherwise it will say, oh, I'm going to go and look into the last 7 days backup only. My backup was taken 30 days ago, so it will not find it.
What about if my backup was obsolete or expired? How is it going to
It will still not find it. So this is another interview question. They will ask you, my RMAN cannot find the backup, what do you do? So in that case, there is a command called _org. So we will have to let RMAN know, hey, go and scan every single thing that you see in this location, and then it will start cataloging them.
You mean we restore an outcome control file with information, we bring it from the server, the catalog server.
So if the RMAN does not know that there are backups, it will say there is nothing in the backup location. So this command will also, if I don't give the max days 364 and my backup was there from January 1st, it has been 10 months now, it will not find it. So now I have to give it, go back and look into last 200 days or 300 days, whatever that is. Okay. So, and then as soon as you restore the SP file to P file, shut down abort. So I'm going to try this.
A question, do we have to release those since we allocated those channels? Don't we
If
have
you
to-
exit out, yeah, ideally you should release them, but if you exit out of after this, so let's say I type this, then they are automatically going to get released.
Nice.
Okay, so since we are shutting down, we are going to do, it's a good idea if you are doing this on a regular basis, you are releasing manually, but that's okay. I'm not going to complicate more, so we'll simply copy this.
So if I forget to manually says to release those channels, then
If
when
you
I
exit out, those channels
exit
are
out
off.
from ARM, right?
Yes, exit out from ARM.
From ARM.
So I'm going to come back here and I will execute this. So 6. Okay, now I found one back.
So is the channels allocation that's only in a manual backup that you're running, or
Restore.
manual
restore. Right.
And
But
it's-
imagine, just think of this. What exactly happened here when I execute this? I have to find only one file, right? But I'm asking 6 channels to go and look for one file.
We're overutilized.
You are overusing. So that's exactly what happened here. It says M1 is going to look for this, M2 is going to look for this, M3 is going to look for this, but then M1 found it. So M2, M3, M4, M5, M6, they are given a signal, hey, go ahead and go back to sleep. So you ask it a little bit more use of CPU before they all start looking. What found it, they all go back to sleep.
Nice.
So you don't have to do. So you don't need it. If there is only one process that is doing, then just go ahead and have this. You're only looking one file. So now the file has been copied, right? The SP file has been restored. How do I verify? I'm going to exit out here, or maybe we'll go to Oracle Home now. Or if I do ls-ltr, I still have dummy. But if I say ls-ltr from Oracle Home /dbs location. Now if you look at here, init.ora file is, yeah, it restored. So I'm going to VI, if I need to make any changes in the new instance, this is the time. So I will say VI, go to Oracle Home /dbs init bash51.ora. Now, if there is anything that I do not like in here, I'm going to simply erase this or add new. For example, on this server, I want to change the service name. I want to have multiple, or if I want to have the SG a little bigger than this. So I will say, this is the time for me now, right? This, and my service name, if I want to add any of the other changes, right, DB multi-block read count or whatever it is, you have to, this is the time that you have to do it. So I'm going to save this. Now I come back. Remember I said the shutdown abort, right? So now I'll go back in here and, sorry. Now I'm going to set the DB ID one more time. So I think I should have put exit here. Okay, then we log into the RMAN target. Okay. And then I'm going to set my DB ID. Okay. Now this time, startup no mount. Remember last time we used the force. Now this time I'm not using the force. So if I look at the dummy instance will now change to, now you will see another directory called bash51 because now this time we are not forcing it, we're actually starting it.
We don't need to because now we have the hit one.
Yeah. So there you go. So bash51 popped up, cd bash51, bash51, and if I will also see alert log. Oh, so I should see the alert log now. It is still starting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the right one. Nothing. Oh, there you go. Alert log popped up. So tail minus F. Oracle instance is starting, instance is started. Now, I'm going to say, hey, go back and set the same file that you used earlier to restore the XP file. Using the same file, we are going to restore the control files. Restore control files from auto backup. Let's try. There you go. It restored one in U02, U03, U04, U05. They are all being restored. Okay. Now at this point, the database SP file is good, so no mount. Control files are good, so now I can mount the database. So I will say order database mount. So now you should go back and say, okay. And now at this point, I will say restore the database from, now it knows where the control files are. It knows where the SP file is, database is already mounted. RMAN can read the Oracle dictionary to find out the back application. And then from there with the 6 channels, now get started, restoring.
So we'll have all that information since we got the control files.
One of the file, it looks like we might have a problem. 5.5. But I thought we removed these data files last time, right? Or maybe it is going to be stored. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 data files. Maybe it is checking the data files are not there, then it is throwing the error. Now it is restoring, and then those errors should go away once we start returning the database.
Would you sometime explain wrapper scripts as well?
Sorry?
Wrapper scripts.
Wrapper scripts, why is that?
Um,
That is only mostly used to hide the passwords.
what was that?
Yeah.
I didn't see them in TCS, but my other two positions at CGI and Edge Systems, they had no restrooms.
I'm worried about this now. Looks like there are some. Maybe when we perform the recovery, it should go away. So now full restore of 1 and 3. Remember, it was complaining about the data files earlier, so we start restoring them now.
So we have to wait until that fully restore the database,
Yeah.
and then we recover it.
Yeah, the first thing is to restore, right? Restore is exact same image of the database at 2 a.m. to 2 a.m. now. Then if there are any changes, the restore is going to start applying those changes. Or recovery is going to apply those changes.
Why did it complain about missing one data file while it's still restored?
Sorry?
The alert log, database was complaining missing one data file while it's still restored.
I think what happened was it tried to, during the restore process, it looked up for those data files 7, 2, 3, 4. If they're already there, then it is going to skip. So it cannot find it there. So alert log says, hey, I don't find it, and that's why it was throwing the error. Then it starts storing. So now we should, so at the end it will actually say restore completed or failed.
Right, but is this because is it possible it's related to the one of the parameters in Arman, the optimization on parameter, maybe?
It could be, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so we have to wait until it's finished.
If the restore fails, can we use a few different backup to restore?
Yeah, that's what happens. So if the latest backup is from January 1st, right? And that backup has some corruption. Somebody opened it with the VI and then they corrupted the file. Now that backup cannot be restored. So what do? I will go back 1 week before December 25th to backup. And then from that backup, I'm going to start rolling forward until now. Okay, so now the restore is completed without any errors, right? So here, if I don't see any error in the last few messages, and here successfully, that's okay. Now I'm going to go to the next one. Next one is to now, now this is the time where I'm going to say, hey, if the database is open on that side, bring all those changes in the form of archive logs here. Right? So imagine, remember our cutover is on Friday and you're on Monday now. This is the first backup. What that means now is you're going to, or actually I think we should do this. I'm going to open up this database. Remember, this is the source and right now the source is down, right? Graph Timon, source is down. Or somebody started up. That's nice. Okay. So here I'm going to say bash 51. I'm going to log in and then I'm going to create few users. Okay. Create user. Identified by ABC. Right? So here I'm going to say user 1. I'm going to execute the same query. User 4. I'm going to execute the same query. User this. I'm going to execute the same query. This user. I'm going to execute the same query. So now these are all the users that we just created. Now, do you think these users are actually there on the other side? Remember, this is the source, right? We restored the database from last backup. Now there are new changes that are happening in the source. Now all these users that we just created, do you think they are in the destination?
No.
No, right? Because this is the future time that is happening. And I'm going to say, hey, one of this user here, grant DBA to this user. So connect this user, ABC123. Create table A, table 1, select the star as, select the star from, and select the star from DB underscore objects. Okay, so here table 1. Here table, select the star from, select the star.
So,
Select star from DB underscore objects. Okay. We'll keep adding more tables in here.
so now we're throwing some DML on the, for the old one. On the old database.
Sorry?
We're throwing some DMLs to the old database, right?
Yeah, so we are making all these changes, right? So our database now. So these two new changes are not here on this side. So if I come back here and if I say, let's select name from $V database, order by 1. Sorry, select name from, select username from DB underscore users, where username like U percentage or U percentage. Oh yeah, this is in mount mode. Okay, so if I have the same query here, I have these new users, right? So, and then I also have a couple of tables created. Now I'm going to say alter system switch log file. Maybe multiple log files. So at this point, I'm going to come back here and I will say on the source, now if I shut down this database, because now at this point I want to make it consistent, right? So I will I will shut down the database and all the new archives that are being generated. So if I go here and if I say cd u98 archive -51 archive. Now if I go ahead and do this, look at all these changes that has happened. 649 all the way up to 662 or more, 662, right? So at this point I'm going to shut down the database. Shut down the So all the changes that are here, I need to change this. So go back to my document. I will say all these changes from here, send that to the New York destination. Is it down? So, now, what do you think I need to do here? Do I need to restore or do I need to recover?
For the new generated archives?
Yeah, so all the archives are being transferred to the destination server, right? Look at this, all these are transferred from 649 to 662. Are these changes already applied on the destination?
No.
So we have to recover now. The database is already restored. We are just rolling forward. So here I will have to say recover database. As soon as I say recover database, it will start from 649, and at 662, it will recover everything, but now it will fail on 663. Why do you think so?
Because
Because it cannot find it. It is asking, hey, what is the next one? This is where you have to say, there is no next one. I'm going to open the database with reset log, new incarnation. So it will reset it to 0.
So it was, where did you copy this new generated archive logs? To the U99 backup and then on
Yeah, same location.
Okay.
So U98 to this, to New York, to go back and do the same location. So if I come back to this location, I should already have this. So ls minus LTR,
Or an archive.
there you go. 649 all the way up to 662. Exactly like it is, right? I can even remove this and re-execute the same command. So now if you say, oh, I think I deleted it the wrong one. That's okay, it will generate the file again. This is another interview question. What happens if your alert log is accidentally deleted? What do you think will happen?
Nothing, it will recreate when
It
it
will
was.
recreate.
Accurate.
Yeah. So I accidentally just deleted the alert log. Look at this, right? I have nothing here. So I have all this diagnosed, all the TRM files, but there is no alert log. It should recreate. But I actually wanted to delete these. So now if I say ls minus LPR, and if I say do this, now if I ask it to recover, there are no archives here, right? So if I ask to recover database, what do you think it will happen?
It will ask you where to recover from, right?
It says, no, I do not have this from 651. So up to 650, 649 and 50 was already part of the backup. Right, so when I took the first one, it already backed up 49 and 50. So now it recovered, but now it has failed on 51. So if I say, if I run this command one more time, remember, this is not here. So if I say, hey, I want you to send all these archives to the destination. Now it is sending. So what that means now is it will find the 651, but it will not find 663. So it will fail. So now I will say recover database. 651, it found it. 2, 3. So it will fail at 663.
Haven't deleted the alert log.
Yeah, but and then I copied again too.
You copied the alert log.
No, alert log is already there. Alert log, remember I said the alert log will get created automatically.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. At what point would it get created?
As soon as it needs to write something, if the alert log is not there, it will create it. Or the background process will create it. Now remember, it failed on 663. At this point, I will have to say, hey, I don't have any more archive logs, so open the database with reset logs. This is where it is creating the redo logs. Okay, now the database is open, and if I come back here, exit out, and then if I log in, and then the status. So I can exit out from here. My batch 51 is completely migrated to.
Can you run this query in RMAN?
No, alter statement, you can do that, but I don't think the select statement you can run in RMAN. But we can check. Yeah, it did.
Now I see that there's a statement processed, when we run the select in our.
So does that make sense now? Now, using this document, you should be able to recover batch 51 into your Amazon AWS server. You can do some more practice, the RMAN backup. There is a very good document with RMAN different scenarios, and I think I have it. Give me 1 second.
Can you post it on the group?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I still have it. So I'm pasting that. This was from a very long time. So if they have an updated version, get the updated version. Okay, so this is one book. The second one, this is the one I really, really like. When I was a new DBA, this really helped me. This is basically going to give you different recipes if control file is lost, if the redo log is lost, if you don't know what the DB ID is. Those kind of scenarios, this book will give you that. The one I just pasted. Oh, I think I pasted the wrong one because the one I pasted was the 11G. This is the 12C, and I'm pretty sure that they have for 19C now. This was my generation, so RMAN recipes for Oracle 19C. I'm pretty sure that you will find it online. So if you have that, you should definitely buy their book. Right, I have that in the PDF. I can send you if you guys like.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
all the great.
Okay, so for example, let's see if there is any scenario. Okay, so now it is saying, hey, simulating the failure. So problem and then the solution. Same thing. It has the problem and then the solution. So restoring and recovering your database. How it works. Flash recovery area. If you have the flash recovery area, what else you can do? All the different scenarios. So randomly, let's pick one. Recycle bin off. If you have recycle bin off, is there a way we can recover from the flash recovery area? If I use the SQL, if I have only, if there is no backup, but if I have the dump files, can I restore it as part of the database recovery? Yes, you can. So deleting archive logs and all those different things. So get this book. It is going to be very helpful, and I'm going to share the book. Although this is the old version. And
Just gotta look with the new features in RMAN from 12C to 19C. Maybe they added new features in RMAN from 12C to 19C.
yeah.
I'm sure they added some.
Yeah. So if I go to Amazon, for example, Amazon RMAN, what is the name of it? RMAN recipes, right? No. No, the author has, I think 12C is the latest one the author has. They are pretty, wow. When I bought this, it was like $10 or so. Get that now. Hello?
It's good.
Okay, who is this? Yes, yeah. Okay, can you call me around 5 o'clock? I am currently in class, yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, so since there is no 19C, I think this went up. Yeah. So anyway, you have those books in PDF now. So this is the farthest that I wanted to go with this class. So Alhamdulillah, we are done with our basic database administration class. I know it was a very long period. I think we spent about almost 6-7 months here, right? I hope it is worthy for you guys that you have learned all this. You started out with very basic, almost nothing, most of the class, not everyone. Alhamdulillah, you guys did well. I'm going to send out, we are not meeting tomorrow. I'm going to send out the schedule for the advanced classes. I think I'm going to start the very next week, and then for 2 weeks, before we have the long weekend, for 2 weeks we will learn the ASM. We'll take a break on long weekend, and then we come back, and then we'll start the data guard and rack.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? All right, guys. Inshallah, I will see you all next week, right?
Yes.
Whoever is registering, and then
You're
inshallah
gonna
we'll go
send
from
those in
there.
an email for registration?
Yes, I will. And I also have some other Oracle books in PDF. Do you guys want those?
Yes, please.
Okay.
As many as you have.
Yes.
He did it.